My name is Michael, a 30-year-old man. Currently, I work hard every day as a company employee. I'm busy, but I love my job, so I've always been focused on work from morning till night. Now I can have 3 meals a day, but growing up in a single-parent household, we were quite poor, and as a child, I often couldn't eat properly. The only decent meal I had was the school-served lunch, but that was only until elementary school. In middle school, I either brought my own lunch or bought something simple from the school store, and in high school, it was either a packed lunch or the cafeteria. I attended a private high school as a scholarship student, so we didn't need to pay for my tuition fees. I was fairly smart, so I applied to a prestigious private high school as my first choice. By scoring high enough, I was able to attend as a scholarship student without paying tuition fees. So, I never had to pay for high school. When I got accepted into high school, my mom was so happy she cried. Most of the students at my private high school were from the middle class or wealthy families. Among them was a wealthy girl named Jessica. Jessica always had shiny hair and wore high-quality shoes from well-known brands. Even in high school, she carried wallets from Louis Vuitton or Gucci, clearly indicating her family's wealth. Her father was a businessman. She always seemed to get whatever she wanted from her dad. I, having no connection to such luxury brands, was quite amazed by it, but then one day, an incident happened. Jessica's Gucci wallet went missing, causing a huge uproar in class. "Oh no, my Gucci wallet is gone. Someone must have stolen it." "Really? Jessica, do you have any idea who could have taken it?" Maybe. Someone from a certain place might be the thief, I guess." "Could it be him?" "Yes. The one who's here on a scholarship despite being from a single-parent family." "Hey, Michael, stealing isn't cool, man. Where did you put Jessica's Gucci wallet?" "Wait a minute. I don't know anything about it." "Don't lie. You're the only one who would steal it. Just give it back." "But I don't have it." "Don't bother making excuses. It's obvious you have it, Michael. Just return it. It was a gift from my dad and it was expensive. But I really don't have it." Despite my protest, Kent and Jessica started rummaging for my desk and bag. But they found nothing. My desk was overturned, and my textbooks and notebooks were scattered on the floor. My lunchbox also rolled out of my bag when they flipped it. I was upset that the lunch my mom had made was treated that way. Then Kent unwrapped my lunchbox, suggesting I might have hidden the money inside. I tried to stop him, but couldn't match his strength. "No money here either, but look at this lunch. It's like a simple American meal, just plain bread with a pickle, so plain. Is this what you eat?" "I knew you were always eating your lunch secretly, but it must have been too embarrassing to show, right?" "That's..." "Indeed, my lunch was plain." I felt a bit embarrassed about it and didn't want it to be seen, even though I knew my mom made it with love. That's why I always ate it somewhat hidden under my arm. Jessica peeked in and burst out laughing. "Well, our dog eats way better than this, haha. No wonder you're so skinny and scrawny, eating stuff like this." At my house, we eat good meat every day. My healthy figure is made from high-quality protein, and this smooth skin, thanks to fresh fruits. You probably can't afford stuff like expensive mangoes or melons at your place, right?" Jessica wasn't overweight but had a healthy figure, and from a poor person's perspective, she seemed to eat well every day. I'm sure her silky hair and smooth skin were also thanks to her quality diet. On the other hand, I had a frugal daily diet, lacking in nutrition, which made me less muscular and slimmer compared to other boys. I hated that and tried working out, but without enough protein intake, I couldn't gain much muscle. In my house, we only had meat on special occasions, so Jessica's daily meaty meals were something to envy. But I didn't envy her character. I didn't want to be like Jessica. She always had Kent and other classmates like Brandon, who was absent that day, fawning over her, acting like a queen. She was called Miss Jessica or Lady Jessica by other girls, placing her at the top of the school social hierarchy. Sure, she was beautiful and had good grades, so maybe she was respected for that. But her personality was truly unbearable. Eventually, it turned out Jessica had shoved her wallet in the back of her locker, proving my innocence. But neither Jessica nor Kent apologized for suspecting me. I thought they should have at least said sorry for treating me like a criminal, but I kept quiet because it was too much trouble. High school passed in a flash. The beautiful and brilliant Jessica went on to a famous private university. I also became a college student. I entered university on a scholarship, so I graduated with a considerable debt. Still, I wanted to study at the university, and my mom wished for it too. My mom had wanted to attend a community college, but her father opposed it, so she couldn't. Back then, some people thought women didn't need education, but my mom wanted to get many qualifications at a community college. She graduated from a general high school and didn't get any certifications like bookkeeping during her time there. She often lamented that if she was going to work right after high school anyway, she should have attended a vocational school. Well, that would have led directly to a job. And there might have been more demand for vocational school graduates than those from a general high school. Because she graduated from a general high school without any specific qualifications, my mom only had part-time jobs after graduating. My parents split up due to my dad's infidelity, and my mom didn't receive any child support. My dad went on to have another family, prioritizing them over us. I vowed never to become a man who makes his wife cry if I ever had a family in the future. To me, my father was no longer worthy of being called dad. With such a past, I'm now working as a company employee after graduation. I have subordinates and lots to do every day, but I'm grateful for a steady salary that ensures I don't struggle with basic needs. In high school, I worked part-time jobs with limited hours and earnings due to regulations on student labor. Being part of my mom's household, no matter how hard I worked, my earnings were capped at just over $10,000 a year. Considering that, being a company employee where effort is directly rewarded with a higher salary seemed perfect. I chose to be a corporate employee over a stable government job because I grew up poor and wanted a job where I could earn substantial incentives. In my company, salespeople receive incentive pay, making our efforts visibly rewarding. Well, time to wrap up for today. I'm totally beat. Having worked overtime for a while, I decided to keep it short that day and head home. When I checked my mailbox at home, I found an invitation to a high school reunion from a classmate. We weren't particularly close, nor did we have a bad relationship, but it turns out we attended the same university. We became acquaintances enough to exchange Christmas cards since he mentioned getting married right after graduation. So, he obviously knew my address. I had sent wedding gifts, housewarming gifts, and baby shower gifts, and he had reciprocated. Well, he's not a bad guy. It was just a sort of camaraderie among classmates. I wasn't keen on attending the reunion, but there was someone I was curious about. I had always had a crush on a high school classmate, Sophie. Even though I was poor and disliked by many, Sophie never looked down on me. In late June, during the early summer, I fell on my way home from high school. Sophie, who happened to be on the same route, stopped by a convenience store and bought me a sports drink. "Here, drink this. You've looked pale for a while now. Could you be suffering from heat stroke?" Heat stroke. It's only June, but it's been really hot this year, and we had gym class today, right? Maybe you're not getting enough fluids, and you need some salt too. Yeah, I drank water, but I might have forgotten about the salt. When you drink water, it's important to take in salt too. That's why sports drinks are best for heat stroke. Ideally, you should have oral rehydration solution, but the pharmacy is too far. Oh, I see. Licking salt or eating pickles is good too. Pickles contain citric acid, which helps with fatigue recovery. I ate one pickled plum every day. You know a lot. Did someone teach you? It's wisdom from my grandma. Well, she was a nurse, so she knows a lot. I see. Thanks for the drink. I'll pay you back next time, at $1.40, right? No, don't worry about it. I bought it because I wanted to. Don't mind it. But when you get home, cool down the places with big veins, like your neck, underarms, or the groin area. Okay, got it. Thanks for the advice. At that moment, I found myself really liking Sophie. She was an unassuming presence in the class, wore glasses, and had a quiet demeanor. She spent her breaks reading books, so I think she was a literature girl. I remember catching a glimpse of her reading a challenging book before. It was a book by Michel Foucault, but it was so complex that I was totally lost. But Sophie read them with enthusiasm and seemed to enjoy it. I heard she went on to study literature in college, but I haven't seen her since. I hoped, perhaps, she was still single. On the day of the reunion, I was suddenly called in by a client, so I had to go there after work. I wanted to change into casual clothes if I had more time, but I was still in my suit. Seeing this, Jessica started to belittle me. You, in a suit, are you actually working? I heard you struggled to get into college, but it was a lower tier one compared to mine, so it seems pointless. Well, I graduated from the prestigious K University, you know. Yeah, I was called in for work, so I'm still in my suit. Didn't have time to change. You got a job. What kind of trashy company picked you up? With your university's level, it can't be anything impressive. Actually, it's one of your father's major clients. What? I work at Greenfield Corporation. We supply products to your father's company. Greenfield, as in that conglomerate-affiliated trading company. Wait, how did someone like you get into a trading company? How did you do it? Well, I got in through regular recruitment. I had a 4.0 GPA score, and I went on an exchange program after graduating. Maybe they valued that. You had a 4.0 GPA and did an exchange program. Yes, that's right. So, what are you doing now, Jessica? Well, I'm just helping with household chores. At that moment, a girl beside her whispered quietly. Making fun of Michael, I thought you'd be working somewhere impressive, but that's disappointing. What? Who are you, anyway? Don't you recognize me? I'm Sophie. What? You're that gloomy and plain Sophie. It turned out this girl was Sophie. She had changed so much since high school. She seemed like a completely different person. Sophie had grown her hair to her shoulders, adding a gentle wave. Her makeup emphasized her already beautiful features, transforming her into a stunning woman. Even in high school, I admired her sharp, beautiful eyes visible behind her glasses. But I was surprised how much a person could change without glasses. Her eye makeup really transformed her appearance. Jessica, now outshone by the beautified Sophie, seemed to be at a loss for words. It's such a waste for someone who graduated from a prestigious university to not even help with their father's business. Well, it's none of my business, and I don't care anyway. What are you talking about? I don't want to hear that from you. I'm preparing to become a bride, so I'm learning household chores from my mother. Learning household chores at this age, wouldn't it have been better to learn them earlier? I mean, most people can handle household chores by middle school. I'm thoroughly learning household chores to make a good marriage. I want someone who earns more than my father. Maybe with an annual income of $1 billion. Haha, Jessica, you should face reality. Guys earning $1 billion a year are usually already married. What? Who are you? I'm Kent. Guys earning $1 billion a year. Chances are they're already married. Jessica, you might still think you're all that, but we're 30 now. If you're serious about getting married, you'll have to make some compromises. You used to be on my side. Why would you say such things? It's just painful to watch. Everyone's got jobs or families, and then there's you, saying whatever you want. It's kind of pitiful. Brandon, you're terrible too. I've worked hard, attending cooking classes, learning makeup, going to matchmaking parties. It's just not the same. Brandon, you're the worst. Where do you work anyway? You were just fooling around in high school and college, right? I'm a national public servant. Just happened to be free to come here. I'm usually super busy. A national public servant? Yeah, I work at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And what about you, Kent? I'm a doctor. Dropped out of college, traveled from Africa to Asia, then re-entered medical school. Now I'm finally a doctor. You, a doctor? I was surprised that Kent and Brandon, who weren't great students in high school, had such respectable careers. Humans can change unexpectedly. Oops, gotta go. I'm an anesthesiologist, so I get called in for surgeries often. Wait a minute. See ya. Oh, and Michael, sorry for the stuff I did in high school. I've regretted it ever since and wanted to apologize. I couldn't find your contact info, though I later found out Ethan knew it. Yeah, Ethan and I went to the same university and kept in touch. Keep up the good work. Not medical advice, but take care of yourself. Thanks, you too, Kent. Don't neglect your health. Kent had to leave due to being called in. I thanked Ethan for inviting me to the reunion. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't have seen how much Sophie had changed. When I thanked him, Ethan said, "Go for it." But I couldn't bring myself to admit I was interested in Sophie. However, I noticed Sophie was glancing my way, making me wonder if she might be interested in me. Whoa, I'm drunk. If I drink anymore, I won't wake up tomorrow. Where's my phone? What? This isn't my phone. Give it back. That's my phone. What's this wallpaper? Jessica and some unknown guy doing something creepy. No, don't look. Brandon, quite drunk, had mistakenly grabbed Jessica's phone. The wallpaper was a terrible photo of Jessica and an unknown, chubby man in a compromising position. Seeing it made me regret everything. It was enough to lose one's appetite. Sophie's face turned pale. You certainly have an interesting hobby. Stop it. Please, act like you didn't see it. I know that man. He's a teacher at my school. What? Yeah, I'm a high school teacher. That's Mr. Thompson, another teacher. It's strange how connections work, isn't it? Wait, you're not going to tell Mr. Thompson about this, right? Maybe I should spill the beans to Mrs. Megan Thompson, who's also a teacher. No, please don't. Sophie had become a high school teacher. She was always quite studious and serious, so it seemed fitting for her. And this man was her colleague at the school. Some teachers get into the profession for the wrong reasons, including inappropriate behavior towards students. At my private high school, where the rules were strict, there were quite a few affairs among the teachers. Teachers are often thought of as saintly figures, but the reality might be different. Just like any other group of people, there are serious and dedicated ones, but there are also those who are not. Jessica screamed and snatched back her phone. If you apologize to Michael, I won't mention this to anyone. What do you say? All right, I understand. Then apologize for what you said earlier. Michael, I'm sorry for belittling you and for talking behind your back in high school. Please forgive me, I'm begging you. All right, I get it. It's okay now. Then I'm leaving. I'll leave the money here. With that, Jessica hurriedly left. A drunk Brandon was a bit annoying, but it was different from high school. He no longer ridiculed me, just a bit of a nuisance. Suddenly, Brandon received a call from his boss, apparently needing to return to work immediately. I used to think public servants had it easy, but those in career positions like Brandon are different. Having passed the National Civil Service exams, Brandon must have studied hard. Unfortunately, I've been drinking, but I need to return to work. Might not get home until the middle of tomorrow night. That stuff. Aren't you going to break down? My blood pressure's already rising. I really need to watch my health. Haha. Don't say scary things like that. Be careful. I'm heading out too. I used to fool around with Kent in high school, but looking back, it was too much. You, though, you're amazing. From a poor family to college, studying abroad, and now a trading company, right? Haha, you're still better in languages, Brandon. Well, I'm in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, so I can manage Chinese, but my specialty is Japanese. My Chinese isn't that great. Don't be modest. Getting into the Ministry of Foreign Affairs isn't easy. Take care, Brandon. Later, Brandon sobered up quickly after the call. Busy people always need to be ready to respond at any time. I'm in the same boat. I work for a trading company, and I'm constantly bombarded with communications. I deal with overseas businesses, so my work phone gets emails non-stop from morning till late at night. There's a time difference, but the other side doesn't really consider that, and urgent messages are often marked with ASAP. ASAP stands for as soon as possible, meaning I need to reply or respond as quickly as I can. So, whenever I see ASAP, I reply, no matter how tired or exhausted I am. In exchange, I receive a decent salary, so I have to do my job properly. After the reunion, Sophie and I walked towards the same train station. But then it started to drizzle, so we decided to take shelter from the rain. The station was a bit far, and we were at a convenience store. The drizzle turned into a downpour, and waiting it out seemed less practical than buying an umbrella. If it keeps up like this, buying an umbrella might be quicker than waiting for it to stop. True, we don't know when it'll let up. It was cloudy today, but I didn't expect it to rain this much. Let me go buy an umbrella. Should I get one for myself too? Oh no, it looks like there's only one left. Someone else must have bought the others. Oh, then you use it, Michael. I can wait until the rain stops. No way, we should share it. Okay. Sharing an umbrella felt a bit awkward at our age, but it was the only one left at the store. So, our only option was to share the one umbrella. I certainly didn't want to get completely drenched on my way home, and I absolutely didn't want Sophie to walk in the pouring rain either. We'd get a bit wet, but it was better than getting soaked separately. There was a convenience store at the station, so we could buy another umbrella there. As we walked, Sophie suddenly grabbed my arm, which startled me. But then there was a clap of thunder, and it seemed she grabbed me out of fear. When I was little, I got stuck in a closet while playing hide and seek. Really? Yeah, there was this loud boom. It was thunder striking nearby. Since then, I've been scared of thunder. Kind of a trauma, I guess. It's embarrassing at 30, thinking back to being stuck in that small space with loud noises around me. I thought you weren't the type to do such things, like, you seem too well behaved for that. Actually, I did some naughty things, like smearing my mom's lipstick all over my face or burying my sister's shoes. I get the lipstick part, but burying shoes, what's that about? I used to think that if you bury something, it would grow, so I buried my sister's shoes in the garden, thinking new ones would grow. I was about 4 then. It's silly now, but I thought it was a cute prank. That's quite an imagination. I'm not sure if I've become more sensible, but now I'm a working adult. Being a high school teacher, I often hear that high school students are almost adults, but that's not quite true. They still have a bit of a child in them. That's why they have such rich imaginations. I get moved to tears by their plays during the school festival. By the way, Sophie, you wrote a script for the cultural festival, right? It was incredible. I always thought you had a talent for writing because you read so much. Thank you. Hearing you say that makes me happy. I'm glad I became a language teacher. Sophie always seemed so composed and intellectual to me, but knowing she had a mischievous childhood was a pleasant surprise. I might be the only one who knows these sides of her. She wasn't very talkative about herself in high school and seemed to prefer being alone. But she helped me when I was on the verge of heat stroke and explained things to me, so she's not averse to people. She's just not the type to share everything about herself. So, I was really happy when she shared her childhood stories with me. I felt special, like I was the only one who knew everything about Sophie. At the station, I bought another umbrella for Sophie. Then we parted ways, boarding trains in opposite directions. Before that, Sophie and I exchanged contact information. In high school, I didn't even have a cell phone, and even if I did, the address would have changed. Sophie and I exchanged contacts, and I was grinning all the way home. A little while later, I received a message from Sophie saying thank you for today on my phone, and I replied immediately. Afterward, we started finding time to contact each other. My work is busy, so I have limited time for calls, but talking to Sophie is always comforting. Thoughts of dating and marriage kept popping into my head. I'm already 30 and want a girlfriend. Curious about family life, I contacted Ethan, who married early and has a big kid now. After talking about it, I was teased with "you haven't confessed yet," which finally pushed me to make the decision to confess to Sophie. 3 months after the reunion, Sophie and I met again. Today, she had straight long hair, not curled like before. Her makeup was subtler than before, but she was still beautiful. Staring at her long eyelashes, she caught me and asked, "What are you looking at? Is there something wrong with my face?" "Oh no, it's just that you look different from high school, maybe because you're not wearing glasses." "Yeah, I got LASIK done." "Really? Did it hurt?" "They anesthetize your eyes, so it doesn't hurt, but you're awake and your eyes are open. It's not full anesthesia." "Yikes, I couldn't do that. I'll stick to contacts. Too scary for me." "It's really comfortable. I recommend it. Anyway, what did you want to talk about?" Well, I thought maybe another day would be better, but I really wanted to say it today." Today's your birthday, isn't it? Happy birthday. I wanted to treat you to a celebration again some other time, but I at least wanted to give you your present today." "Well, that's so sweet. Thank you. Did you come just for that?" "Yes. I wanted to see you on your birthday and wish you in person." "Can I open this?" Sophie unwrapped the gift I handed her and gasped in delight. It was a bottle of wine made in the year of her birth. At the reunion, we were at a fancy bar that served wine, and Sophie was drinking wine steadily. She didn't even get flushed despite drinking quite a bit, and when I asked her later, she said she loved wine and had a high tolerance. So, I chose this as her present, and she was thrilled. "Sorry for the heavy gift. I was thinking of sending it to your house." "No, thank you. I'm so happy. I just bought some nice cheese recently." "Hey Sophie, I have a favor to ask." "What is it?" "What I really wanted to say is, would you consider dating me with marriage in mind? Are you? I'm hoping we can start a serious relationship. I have deep feelings for you, Sophie." "Michael, thank you. I'd also like to date seriously and think about the future." "Really? That's wonderful. So, we're officially a couple now." "Yes, we are. Nice to meet you again, in a way." And that's how we officially became a couple. After a year of dating, we happily got married. Brandon and Kent, who used to hassle me but had since reformed, attended the wedding. Ethan, who was also at the same university, came too, and I was really happy. Now, I'm looking forward to building a new family with Sophie.